Amazon has everything for back to school. Zebra lunchbox? Check. Cool Adidas gear like t-shirts, shoes, and backpacks? Check. Triceratops folders and pencils? Check. Laser Cat t-shirts? Check. Get your back to school shopping done now at amazon.com/back-to-school and enjoy free shipping on millions of items. No need to leave your home or hassle with crowds. Amazon.com. No better place to get everything back to school from A to Z.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, hello.
We're here.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Hold on, I'm trying to get my music to play.
Okay. It's all right.
It's not going to do it. Nope.
All right. Well, there's music going on here because we're in the middle of practice, so we can play
right.
something for you.
All right.
You want to?
Yeah, I usually do a commercial and things like that, but it started raining here, so that's probably why.
Well, we'll play.
All right.
We just got 3 people here, but we'll do what we can. All right.
Awesome. That'll work.
We're gonna.
Hi, folks. This is Mark Wilma,
Here it
singer-songwriter of the Redstone Ramblers, owner of Trademark Instrument Repair, and proud supporter of the Paige Roberts Show on Intercom Radio. Do you want that old acoustic to play like butter again? You want to get that Strat you got from your dad hot-rodded? Or maybe you want to put a pickup in your banjo? You can contact me for all your TLC. I'll be there for your instrument when it needs me. You can check me out at Trademark Instrument Repair on Facebook. Thanks again for listening, and remember, support your local songwriter.
Okay, now it's your turn.
Do we want to say hello to everybody?
Yes, we can go ahead and do that. Since it started, it's expected. But it's okay. Yeah, I know y'all are getting ready for a show tonight. So, yeah, tonight I have featured artist Andy Browne of the Andy Browne Troupe. So I'm going to hand it over to him, and he's got his guys over there, and so they're going to play for us. How's that?
That's good, yeah. We got a show coming up on Friday. That's 10th. We're over at Sweetwater in Duluth. And so we're going to come on strong over there. And but right now I'm going to play quietly for you. This is a song called Southern Rain, and it's off our first album, which came out in 2016. That's when it did. Yeah, about 2 years ago. And since then we've done 3 other albums. So that one's called Giselle. It's on that Spotify thing. And this one's called Southern Rain. It's a country type song. You got brothers, orders from the branch of the tree. But I never had much luck with tallest as I lay this work down the drain. My body's growing weary, tight and crazy, standing out here alone. low. And I'll give you low. And I'll give you low. So that's kind of appropriate because it's kind of raining here in Atlanta. How about you? Is it raining up there, Paige?
Oh, yeah, it is. It just popped up all of a sudden, didn't it?
It did, and it seems to do that these days. I like the rain. It reminds me of England.
I know it does too. Well, if people don't know, this is the Paige Roberts Show, and you're listening to Intercom Radio Network, and we are broadcasting live off of Blog Talk Radio. I am talking to Andy Browne Troupe. So, and that was him playing. So we appreciated that since my board had a different, it had a different mind of its own.
Well, have you got that mind under control now? Can you play that song, England?
Yeah, we can try it.
Why don't you give it a go?
All right, let's see what it does, and we'll come right back.
All right.
London, Manchester, Liverpool, Avebury.
Okay, you are listening to the Paige Roberts Show on Intercom Radio Network. If you are just now tuning in, our call-in number is 646-668-8941. My featured artist tonight is Andy Browne of the Andy Browne Troupe. Let's give a shout-out, Andy, first. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give?
Well, I'd like to shout out to the guys in the room. We got Dean Brown on bass. He's my brother. Vito Montagudo on drums. He's my brother. And David Spencer on the guitar. He's my brother. And the rest of the troupe, well, they're trooping somewhere. I don't know where they are, but we're all rehearsing for Friday. And but I appreciate you playing that song, England, and it kind of shows us diversification.
Right.
We do some country stuff like Southern Rain, and then we do England. So we try to be everywhere, and
a little mix. Right.
Because I think that's important to have different influences and stuff. So anyway, that's our stick, So
let's give a shout out to Ruth Allen Finley. I know she's Athens, Georgia, and she's Athens Uncharted. She shares a lot of our stuff out there, so we appreciate that. And one other, let's give a radio shout out to Phil Kranz. He is the radio personality for the Black Dog Morning Show on WAAK 94.7 FM down in Ringgold, Georgia. So if you can pick him up, Georgia. Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. You know what I mean?
Yep. Sometimes I can pick them up. I do have some more shout-outs, though. Lucy Theodore, she's gold, and she's been doing our videos, and I think she's quite the character. She's cool. I like to say hello to her. I like to say hello to my friend Clay Harper, who just put out an incredible album called Bleak Beauty. He happens to own the Fellinis in towns. They're pretty good restaurants. I've worked there when I was a little pud. And one man very important to us, dear and true to our heart, is Anthony DeCurtis. He's one of the few Yankees that we actually love and appreciate very much. He's coming back to play with us to do some Lou Reed songs in November. November 2nd, we'll be in Athens with Mitch Easter, who's a very, very nice guy. He's a very important fellow. He produced R.E.M.'s first single, Radio Free Europe, I believe it was called. Now, Mitch, I saw him a little while ago. He's just a superb fella. But Anthony DeCurtis, he's been at Rolling Stone for a long time, and he wrote a book on Lou Reed. And it's a really great book, and we'd like to say hello to him tonight. Hopefully he's in New York doing just fine. He's going to be on a plane in November to come see us again and do some shows with us. We appreciate him very much. But this album by Clay Harper, this Bleak Beauty, you got to listen to that because it's really, there's quite a few bands in Atlanta that are really good, but Clay Harper, he's doing something really special there, So.
Now what's the venue for November the 2nd? Where are you going to be playing at out here?
I believe we're at the Caledonia Lounge. Caledonia, that lounge. So that'll be with Mitch Easter, and then that's on November 2nd, Friday, and then November 3rd, we're at Ray Clay Theater, run by Eddie Owen, who's one swell character. That's in Duluth, and it's a really super nice place, all classy and everything. We went over there the other day to check it out. Guys, superb shows over. First class.
Awesome. Well, here lately we've had quite a few of our locals on, and we like that since I am Athens, Georgia, But
I saw your Dana Downs poster coming up there. She's great. I see her quite a bit out here now and then when I'm out in Athens and Atlanta. She's a wonderful person. I think I've run in and out of her for years now. She's cool. But she's coming up on your show, isn't she?
Yes. Is that one? Yes, and I had the date wrong on that. I think it was October the 8th and not October the 13th. So we'll be changing that date on there. But we got plenty of time. It's just August, right?
I can't even keep up. I'm still like when I sign checks, it's like 1998. I make that mistake all the time. So, but
right.
Yeah, we could if you want to talk about inspiration and stuff, we could talk about that stuff.
Yes. Well, that's what I was going to say. Now, before we get into your new elephants, why don't we first maybe talk about the inspiration? Because you had Zazel, did I say that right?
Well, I call her Giselle. She was the world's first
Giselle.
human cannonball. Yeah, and that was our first album. So we were kind of doing some rock, Bowie-esque-ish, the Church. We had a lot of different influences, but one big influence that's always been riding on top of everything is David Bowie. So, because I really like David Bowie. And so we kind of, set the bar there as far as rock songs. In fact, Lucy Theodore, she's just done a new video for one of those songs called Virginia Please. I think it's on that YouTube thing. Yeah, it's kind of funny. She is white girls dancing and everything. But it's, so that song, Virginia Please, it's the first song on Giselle. And a lot of people like that song. I like it too. I think it's good. And I think she captured a real essence of that song. I think she cut pictures of me in the first beginning after that girl dancing, and I felt kind of at ease. That was in my natural environment there and everything like that. So anyway, we did Giselle in, let's say, May of 2016. And then we did Giselle Attacks, and then we did Giselle's Calling, which is kind of like in the Radiohead bit in there. It was just still rocking, but got some AC/DC mixed with Radiohead. So then we just did this new album, Elephants, which came out, I don't know when it came out, a little while ago, a couple months back. And it's kind of more modern and more progressive because we were kind of, shooting for the stars. That's what we're kind of doing. And we wanted to put ourselves in more of a modern rock pop kind of category where, like, we were trying to, and that's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to push everybody's button. It's a little more modern than some can catch on to, but that's okay because, we can go back to whatever we need to do. But Elephant seems to be making its mark. It's not even out the gate. And, Anthony DeCurtis at Rolling Stone, he loves it, so I can't do much better than Rolling Stone magazine.
No.
So
that's really top of the line right there. Actually, I tried to get him to come on tonight, but he said, I'm busy traveling. And I'm like, okay.
Well, you know what he's traveling around with his book, talking to colleges and some really smart folks about his writing and his book on Lou Reed called A Life. And he's working that, and he's doing a really good job. In fact, when he was here, he did a couple of talks and stuff, and he's funny. He's got stories. Me and Lucy sat with him at the Majestic the last night he was here, and I mean his stories about he hangs out with all them big guys and he's friends with them, and that's cool. Just hearing that they're regular folk, and the more comfortable you are with them, the more they are with you. So yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I know you do a lot with Lou Reed, but I was going to ask why Lou Reed. I mean, you can tell us who Lou Reed is, I guess, because some people might not know, not coming from that era, because he's done 40 and 50 years of music.
Well,
Pretty much.
Lou Reed had a band in the late 60s called the Velvet Underground, and basically they didn't sell a lot of records. But if you're in a band these days, or of any kind of alternative rock slash, any sort of like trying to rub against the norm or doing something experimental, if you don't know who Lou Reed is, well, you do, because your influences. He was the main guy that brought all that out. Lou Reed had a couple of pretty big songs, Sweet Jane, Walk on the Wild Side. That was produced by Mick Ronson, actually. David Bowie, Mick Ronson produced Walk on the Wild Side, and it was a very at the time it broke a lot of boundaries in rock music. And Lou Reed is one of those cats like Chuck Berry. He was just on the underside of rock. Before there was, he was friends with Bowie, but he was a little more New Yorky, a little more smart-ass, and a little more, you could say, funnier at times. He broke a lot of boundaries for a lot of people, which a lot of people these days, they don't understand because they don't maybe know who he is, but I know who he is, and I learned a lot more about him through Anthony DeCurtis. Anthony DeCurtis knew him quite well, and he has a lot of stories about him. So, but Anthony came down and sang, and the reason I really respect Anthony, because he's an upstanding citizen of the United States, but he had, you meet a lot of writers that write a lot of stuff. And they like to criticize and all that. No, that's their job, and I get it. But Anthony actually got on stage, sung a set of songs wonderfully, funnily, and amazingly. We did about 4 gigs while he was here in a string of 5 days, and I was pretty much laughing inside the whole time because he's such a great guy, and it was him having the fearlessness to stand up there. It was just amazing to me, and working with him has been nothing but pure joy. Now, there is another writer in town I'd like to send a shout out to, Doug DeLoach, who is one of my favorite characters in the Atlanta area. He took me and Lucy over to the Dixie Speedway a couple months back, and we got a lot of dirt. We got a lot of dirt. I don't know if it's called the outfield or whatever it's called. Wherever we were, we got a lot of dirt on our chicken. But we had a great time. And Doug DeLoach, I love that man. He's very intelligent, and he knows what he's talking about. And, he was friends with Deacon Lunchbox. And I don't know if you know who that is, but, he died a while back, and he's still on my mind. And there's a cast of characters from Cabbage Town that are just gold. And Doug and Deacon and their friends, Benjamin from Smoke, all them cats are just the cats meow in Atlanta. So I have to say shout out to Bill Taft, who has a new band called Waiting for UFOs, who are one of my favorites in town. And Bill was in Smoke, obviously. But Bill Taft is one of the brighter spots in Atlanta's music to me. But let's move on, if you'd like to inspiration.
Well, I know that you've been doing music for quite a while, too, going back to the 1980s. So, especially if you come out of Athens, not really out of Athens, Georgia, per se, but the music scene, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there listening, too, that has been around that era of Athens, Georgia. And why don't you talk about that life? Why did you pick Athens, Georgia?
Well, the original band, the Night Porters, was from Atlanta, and we spent some time up in Athens, and we played with quite a few people up there. And, we just knew the people we played with back then, they were good-hearted souls. We love them to this day. But we started making our mark in Atlanta, and then Athens has always been, I don't know so much now, but this, really cool hotbed of, I don't really judge people, but a lot of the musicians I met up there are just really nice. They don't seem to be too about themselves. It's more about the community. Maybe that's why they're very successful, the ones that are true blue, because, sometimes you get situations where, I don't know, people are not seeing others, and then it gets very selfish, and then it's all about them, and it's kind of sad because they have to understand that a community and a positive outcome is only developed by people coming together and understanding maybe different types of music, and getting it all. And so we got Pylon, amazing band, Vanessa, one of the sweetest girls you'll meet in your life. And then who else was from Athens? We played with Art in the Dark. We played with Kilkenny Cats a lot. They were great. They are great. And let me see. There's another band that I'm thinking of there, though. They're really good. Oh, REM. Yeah, that's it.
REM. Hello.
I like them a lot. In fact, they do some really cool stuff, REM. They're funny because they're really subtle about what they do, and people really get it. And that's a sign of intelligence, I think, when you're doing something maybe not so obvious, but the mass appealing to people. So it's cool what they did. And I have to say that guitar player, Peter Buck, he played with us a couple times, and he's just
amazing soul. I mean, he's the coolest guy I probably met in my life. They all are, actually. They're all great people and everything like that. So, but yeah, Athens is just it's cool. You know, I mean, you don't have to. It's like I think if Miles Davis landed in Athens in its prime, he'd be like, this place is okay, which is a big thing for Miles Davis to say. But
it is.
yeah. So,
but you know the thing about Athens, if people don't know, I mean, I don't know about summertime so much, but I know like now, I know classes are in session, so any given time you can go downtown, and then just about on any corner there is a venue with music there. So no, that doesn't go lacking. That's for sure.
yeah, it was That's why I like it. I'm thinking of one band. They're really special to me. Give me a second because I got to think. Anyway, yeah. So we could like inspiration. You know, you want to talk about that stuff at all? Songwriting.
Yeah, we can. But I know we have been talking we talked yesterday for a few minutes, and but basically, yeah, the influence is there. Talk about the influence on elephants. Now, how did you come up with that concept? I mean, what were you going for when you did put that album together?
Well, Paige, can you name one person on the planet that you know that is a conscious human being that doesn't like elephants?
Not to my knowledge.
That's kind of what we had in mind. I haven't met anybody yet that doesn't like the album, and that's kind of really cool. I think elephants are very sensitive. I think they remember a lot, and but they don't. They just get on with things. They remember, but they're just like, we're got to move forward. So that's what elephants is about, moving forward. So, you know, I'm a big fan of elephants' rights. All them people in like Africa shooting elephants for their tusks and stuff. I don't like that.
No.
I think no, they ain't no good at all. And then sometimes them tusks just sit in warehouses and they just like collect dust, and they're gonna go. We make a lot of that.
All right, and for what?
Exactly. You know, there's no reason to hurt these wonderful creatures brought here by God and placed for beauty, and all they do is eat plants and like some grapes or something. And you know, I don't get all that people hurting people thing.
No bother you about that. I don't either.
So that was the concept behind elephants. Is well, everyone loves them, so I like them. I love them. So we want everybody to listen to elephants. It's kind of a hip record. So
now, as far as the songwriting part, and I talk about these kinds of things all the time on my shows, and how you put together an album, even down to the songwriting part. How do you figure out what to sit down and write? I mean, does that just come with the territory, or do you already have a plan for that?
Oh, I got no plan. I think God has a plan, and I'm just following in His footsteps. It's funny about elephants. I had a couple songs written, and they were working pretty good, and I had a trouble on one or two, which doesn't usually happen. And then this girl, Lucy Theodore, came into my life, and those songs buttoned up pretty quickly. So sometimes we're inspired by the experiences and the people that are brought into our life. I'm a big fan of Joe Strummer of The Clash, and Lucy is too, and so we get along because, well, Joe Strummer. The thing about The Clash is this: not a lot of people these days listen to The Clash, and that's okay. But what they did when I was small, we played with them when I was a little pud, and they were really nice guys. But the thing about like certain band lyrics is they make you think about things. You can still dance, but they tune you into things that you sort of never think about before. And so my education was brought to me by Joe Strummer on a plate. And, I like a lot of songs, but I like songs that speak to you. and say something. And a lot of songs, well, they're just there, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the Bob Dylans and the Joe Strummers and the David Bowies and even Mick Jagger occasionally comes up with something intelligent. But what I'm saying is, it pulls you in. It makes you understand what that writer was thinking. And although Dylan can be a bit, what's the word, obtuse sometimes.
Oh,
but
that's a good word. Right. Well, if people don't understand the influences of where you're going with this, Andy is from England, so why don't you tell us about that? Because, yeah, that's a huge influence on your music and your writing, right?
Well, yeah. When I was a young boy in England, I was going to it was cold. It was snowing, but I'd have to go in shorts every day to school, so, like these gray shorts with this maroon tie. We'd have to walk through the church graveyard, and it was freaking cold, and I was wondering why they made me wear shorts. But I remember seeing David Bowie on the BBC when I was just a little pud, and T-Rex. And so that song, England, is there in relation to my growing up in England. And, it's got the Clash in it, my mama, and different aspects of England that, in fact, my buddy Pete Murphy, he's got a TV show on that YouTube thing, and he just kind of reviewed England in England. And he's from Birmingham, where I was from. But it's funny because HP Sauce and different things he brought up, and he kind of explained the song as it went, and he nailed it pretty good. That's called The Edward Show on YouTube. He's a funny guy, that Pete Murphy. I like Pete Murphy. He's in another band, though. I forgot the name of that band. Yeah, I just forget things sometimes, but it's okay.
It's okay.
I got to send out thinking about. They're wonderful people. I've always liked them. They're funny guys. Love Track. That's Athens band. That was cool.
Now, you and I were talking yesterday, and I know we had brought up on this subject, and this comes up a lot of time on my shows as far as genres. I mean, is it ridiculous, or is it, what do you call it? I mean, how many known name genres do we actually have?
I got two. Good and, well, I'd rather not listen to it. But everything's been subcategorized and put into filings and this, that, and the other. And it, I'll go from John Lee Hooker and Elmore James to, Cannonball Adderley and all over the page, Frank Zappa and Hank Williams and everywhere, because it's good, soulful music that comes from somewhere important. So all these subcategories is an alternative jazz with a bit of salsa. I don't know. I just like it because it's good and I can relate to it,
Right.
So maybe some guy in some office somewhere was saying they'll understand it better if we cut it up into subcategories and spoon feed it to. I don't know how they think, but maybe, I don't know. Who else could have come up with such a concept?
But I don't even really understand the genre behind. And maybe I'll go look this up when I get off the show with you. Is the pop genre, the pop rock, pop country. What else do we have?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the Beatles are pop. It's popular music. That's what the word is. It's popular. The Beatles are popular. So when people say to me pop music, I go, well, that's a good thing. Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and the Hermits and whoever's, but they, whatever you want to say, but it's pop music. It's popular. Well, if it's popular, well, it's cool. It's reaching a lot of people. It means it's understood by people, and that's the whole goal. I think is even like Dali, like an artist like Salvador Dali, he's creating paintings that were a bit strange, but people were getting them because they understand where he was coming from, and so he became popular. So he's pop. Not like Andy Warhol pop, but yeah, it's like Andy Warhol pop, a different kind of pop. But I got no problem with pop music. I think it's great,
No, but like I said, if I understood it better, I guess I would. But I like all different kinds of genres. Yeah, we're not just You know, we're not just country, we're not just rock and roll. We are any kind of genre you want to do. But typically we are indie. And I guess everybody fits the indie category.
Paige, you're like a country jazzophile, salsa disco woman, right?
Right.
That's good. That's why I like you. Cool.
Well,
Did you like this? Did you like disco when it came out?
You know, yeah. That was our era too. That was 70s and 80s. So yeah.
So you weren't standing in them stadiums like down with disco, dust to disco. You weren't one of them chicks. You were just like rocking and you were into it all, right?
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
Paige, were you partying hard back then?
I'm trying to even think. How old was I in the 1980s? Because I was like, I don't know. But anyway, we won't go into age, will we?
Okay. Yeah, we did. I did have a couple beers back then. I was on tour with the Replacements for a little while, and they gave me a 6-pack or 3 once in a while, and I don't drink anymore. I don't find it too. It's just not for me no more. I got no problems with nobody doing it.
Well, we all been there, done that. Now I'm here to tell you.
Everybody was on tour with their Replacements. That's what I'm hearing these days. But yeah, that was fun. But anyways, yeah. Well,
Okay. But
we could talk about God if you wanted to.
Right. I always talk about God. But yeah, that's been a lot lately. Because I know that's what you said, you go on. And that's pretty much what I go on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a saying, it's like, if you don't know what to do, don't do nothing, and then somehow, some way, some sign or answer is going to, but yeah, I went through this great spiritual awakening like 2 years ago, and I just calmed down. At the time, it was a bit strange because my whole sort of conscious being was in a different place. So a couple people took it wrong, but that's okay because they didn't understand. But anyway, it brought me to now. I took out the whole kind of spirituality within and digging it all, and I understood more about Buddha and God and religion and just that Jesus guy. He seems like a good cat. I just learned one thing from him is like be a good person, and and then things come around or whatever. Doors started opening once I kind of, what do they call it? Seeing the light.
Right.
See the
started
light.
Doing
Yeah, when I changed, I guess it was a little bit consciously, so that was kind of a heavy thing, but it's cool, and everything's good now. So, anyway,
well,
that's
good.
good.
What's good is when you're able to see it. That's what I'm always saying. When you're able to see what they mean or what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, when you see like connection between the things that appear and where you're supposed to go and where you're supposed to kind of follow, it takes a while, I think, to get some of that. I wouldn't call it knowledge, but I would call it seeing.
Or epiphanies. I guess that's kind of what epiphanies are.
That's a good word, epiphany. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's maybe what I had. Maybe it was just an epiphany a couple of years back. Yeah, that's what I had. Thank you for that word. That's what I would say. I had epiphany.
Well,
yeah.
I just learned that word too, and it's like, oh, okay. People would call it magical powers when God shows you which way you're supposed to go. But I call it.
I don't know much about magical powers, but I know a lot about Houdini. I studied him quite a bit when I was a kid, and sometimes, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, Houdini. He was in the circus when he was a kid, and it's a funny thing that girl Giselle that was mentioned on our first album. She was in the circus too. At 14, she was the world's first human cannonball. They got her like. It's crazy stuff, So, But I read her story, and I'm working on something with that right now with some words. But yeah, she's quite an inspiration too, and well, interesting story that is, you know.
Now, are y'all working on anything else, like any other albums are you putting together? I know most people, they start right after they get one together and putting together something else, but I don't.
Well, Paige, we got about 3 or 4 albums ready to go right now. We're just busy playing. We're playing, like I said, on Friday in Duluth at Sweetwater Bar and Grill. Then we're playing the 18th at Cafe Bella in Atlanta, which is a new place on Huff Road. Then we're playing the 25th at a private party. Then we're playing September 7th at Tucker Brewery. And then we're playing Roswell Arts Festival on September 16th. And then it just kind of keeps going. So we're busy playing right now because we kind of want to get our, you know, structured live thing down. And I have to say, we have Amanda Lee playing violin and singing with me. She's amazing. We got Shane Perryman on trombone, who is a young cat, but he just brought a lot to the troupe. And I mentioned the 3 other guys with me, David and Dean and Pito. And Jeff is our other guitar player, and he's really, really great, cool guy. And Billy Fields is on keyboards with us sometimes. He's in that band Waiting for UFOs too. He does Lou Reed stuff with us. And got a girl named Deborah Lynn who's playing and singing with us with the Lou Reed stuff. And Charles Barrow we'd like to thank for playing bass with us during the Lou Reed. He's an amazing cat, totally down to earth, wonderful human being. So we kind of have like a revolving coming and going on certain gigs. You know, in Cafe Bella, we're playing jazz, acoustic, you know, country stuff. This show on Friday will be more a rock thing. So we're kind of diversifying our portfolio into whatever places that we bring it into called for. Some places we're going to rock. Some places we're going to take it easy, congas, etc. And then we have a different load of material for each place. So that's, you know, but that's how really, to me, a great song. It's like a great song. You could play it country or reggae or jazz, and it still sounds like it should, and you still hear that melody. And we do a lot of that. We play around with a lot of our songs about just swapping up, you know, how we're going to play them and stuff, and that's always a lot of fun. So.
Now, do you, when you're ready to put together an album, now do you do all your recording in a studio, or what do you do?
Yeah, we do. This album, Elephants, was produced by 3 different people. Palmer Wood, he produced a song called Bob Dylan, which is a hip-hop song, sort of. And then we had Neil Freed produce a couple songs. Neil's a very interesting cat. He's on the art scene in Atlanta, and he's been a buddy of mine for a little while, well, a long while. And he's kind of just totally in tune with what we're doing. And then there's Bruce Bennett, who produced England and Warriors Don't Cry. Bruce, he's produced Sugarland, I think, Jennifer, some of her solo stuff. And Bruce, he just moved to Nashville recently. He's just amazing guy, amazing producer. You could do the stuff with his eyes closed and stuff. So we got lucky on Elephants. We got everybody kind of in the right. Well, to me, producers are 7th, 8th member of the band because they hear it as a whole and they make everything just flow. So we give them the raw material and let them spend their couple of days at it. And, you know, I couldn't be happier with the sound. All 3 of those guys, I love them all, but they all have wonderful ears and are in tune with the universal sound around the troupe. So it was a very pleasant experience. Yeah, but that's generally what we do, is maybe go into a studio or 2 and work with people. And we've actually walked out of a couple studios, I think in 2017. You know, people come and go, and it wasn't right. So, you know, you got to make your decisions and sort of say, cut your losses is what I'm saying.
That's right.
You know? But I think we found the right chemistry now, and so it's working very well. So.
Yeah, I haven't been there, done that. But, you know, a lot of singer-songwriters, they produced and do their own editing and recording and things like that. I don't know how they do that, but okay.
Yeah, it's too many buttons. Too many buttons for me. I got to turn the brain on, and then I gotta just go, and stuff like that. But Paige, here's the deal. I got to cut it short, but we got to get rehearsing for Friday, and everybody's got to get to bed at some point. I really appreciate you having me on and letting the band play.
You're welcome. Oh yeah, we are, because we are coming down to like 8 minutes left, so I'll probably go out with England. But we do. But if y'all are ever in Athens, let me know.
Well, we're going to be up there in November, and you and your friends are going to be on the guest list. So I will talk to you before then, and we'll make that happen. And we really appreciate you having us on. And anytime you want us back, we'll be glad to talk about, maybe in a couple months we can come back and talk about all we're doing in the next couple months and recording the next album, okay?
Awesome. That'd be great. And we appreciate you taking time out to come on here as well. So, yeah, so why don't we go back out with England, and we'll talk to you later. Now, we'll be sharing all your stuff out there. So whenever you have anywhere you're playing, we'll share the information too. So.
All right. God bless, Paige. All right. We'll talk to you in a bit, okay? All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Andy.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. We're going to close out here, and we'll be back here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Clayton Morgan tomorrow night. And I'm going to have to check in with him in a few minutes to see if he's coming back on. So, but that was Andy Browne Troupe. That's pretty cool. That's Athens and Georgia. So we will see y'all back here tomorrow, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and be looking for the link out there. So, all right, we're going to close out here. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hi, folks. This is Mark Wilmot, singer-songwriter of the Redstone Ramblers, owner of Trademark Instrument Repair, and proud supporter of the Paige Roberts Show on Intercom Radio. Do you want that old acoustic to play like butter again? You want to get that Strat you got from your dad hot-rodded? Or maybe you want to put a pickup in your banjo? You can contact me for all your TLC. I'll be there for your instrument when it needs me. You can check me out at Trademark Instrument Repair on Facebook. Thanks again for listening, and remember, support your local songwriter.
playing tunes that make you grin. Our music's better than it's ever been. So think of us when you need a show. We're at WIRN, Intercom Radio.
Amazon has everything for back to school. Zebra lunchbox? Check. Cool Adidas gear like t-shirts, shoes, and backpacks? Check. Triceratops folders and pencils? Check. Laser Cat t-shirts? Check. Get your back to school shopping done now at Amazon.com/back-to-school and enjoy free shipping on millions of items. No need to leave your home or hassle with crowds. Amazon.com. No better place to get everything back to school from A to Z.